You are listening to Free Sentence a Minute, an adult podcast for those that are 18 or older.
If you're not 18, shut this the bloop off.
It's all about sex, sex, sex. Sex, sex, sex. It's all about sex, sex, sex. It's all about it.
Hey bitches, it's Maggie from freesentenceaminute.com, and I'm totally fucking stoked to have you on the podcast today. Lovely Miss Kelly has been having more technical difficulties, so I am covering yet another episode, but that's fucking awesome because I love you guys and I love playing around. We are getting mad hits and mad downloads, and we also have a ton of people coming on over to the membership page. So that's awesome. Remember, the membership page is only $7 for the entire month, and so that means for an entire month, 30 days, you will have access to the hour-long chat that we have every week. The first one, or I'm sorry, not the first one, but the next one being tomorrow night, the 18th, Friday, the 18th at 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Anyway, the details are on the membership page. The other thing that's going on the membership page is, a little birdie told me that our guide to phone sex employment will be up by Saturday night. So woohoo for that. If you are at all interested in getting a job in phone sex, or you're just interested in what goes through the mind of girls when they're considering that type of employment, be sure to check that out. Again, it's only $7 for the entire month, and you get access to everything on that page. We'll also be posting some naughty audios this weekend. The little bit of feedback that we've been having is definitely all about having some of those filthy audios. So rock on. We'll be making that happen for you. What else is going on? We've got our Facebook page up, and we've got Twitter happening. We've got all that shit. So be sure to look for us on Facebook and look for us on Twitter and all those things. Yeah, we're loving it. We have lots of fun things going on. If you happen to be a podcast lover, or maybe you like internet radio or anything like that, I'm just going to throw this out there that I love doing interviews, and I've done a few interviews in the last month, and I have a couple more on my books. And so if you have a podcast that you think that I should get on and rock on and talk about or whatever, I would love to hook up. So maybe you have a podcast that you know the people, or maybe you just have a podcast you really love that you think I would make a good guest, let me know. I'll be sure to send you some kudos in the meantime, or whatever. We'll figure it out. Because I love doing interviews. I love chatting about everything to do with the sex industry, about how the sex industry is becoming more mainstream, how a lot of women in middle to upper class living are turning to phone sex and other sex related industries just so they can make the ends meet, because this is a really bad economy, but we're making it through and we're working through it. So anyway, without further ado, I want to talk about some things you might not consider about phone sex. And one of them is, how do I want to say this? A lot of times people ask, how do you get into the mind of a phone sex worker? How do you get into your persona? How do you keep track? Because we all know by now that the girls in the picture, the vast majority of the time, are not the girls on the phone. So how do you remember if she has a tattoo on her ankle, or how old she is, or any of those different things? It's really important for you, obviously, as a phone sex worker, to know your character inside and out. Now, there are some companies that you're going to have to know more than one character, but for the vast majority of companies, you only know one. And that character, what's really important is that you have to give your whole self to that character. I really am 27. I really do have 2 dogs. I really do half marathons. I really am a kinky person. I really am all these different things. And all of those things come out in my character that I play. Now, some people have a little bit more of a mental block, a mental challenge, where it's easier for them to have this completely fictional character. And if that rocks for you, then rock the fuck on. Whatever makes it happen for you. But what's most important is just like writing a good movie or a script. Whenever you go to a good play, it's that depth of a character that the vast majority of clients are interested in. So you want your character to have more than one emotion. Yes, she can be a whore in the bedroom, but is she a chef in the kitchen? Is she a lady out on the town? Is she an athlete at the gym? What else is she like? What other things? Because you're never going to have an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hour call if the only thing you know how to do is moan and groan. So keep that in mind. And that's why a lot of the higher end companies only hire women that have degrees and are more articulate than the general population, because we are conversationalists. That's literally what we're doing. We're talking guys up about any little thing. Some guys love to talk about politics. Some guys love to talk about current events. Some guys love to talk about random bullshit. And you just have to be able to carry that conversation, because if you can't, somebody else can, and that person's going to take your caller. Now, that's not to say that we're all like crazy bitches and we're all competing with each other. That's, that's not true. Some of the time, most of the time, at least for me, I guess. I mean, I'm not possessive at all of my callers. I have my callers and I love my callers, but if they move on to someone else, then rock on, have fun. I think that that's, totally their prerogative, and they're happy to do it. Hopefully, and that's one thing to keep in mind. A lot of the callers kind of make their rounds. They call a girl for maybe a couple months, and they call another girl for a couple months, and then another girl, and another girl, another girl, and then they start over again. And that's one of the great things about phone sex is you have that kind of relationship with people where there isn't commitment, and there isn't that desire. There is a desire, but it doesn't have that mandatory. It's not a ball and chain. You're not really boyfriend, girlfriend. You're not really committed to that person. Even though sometimes those relationships have kind of a little bit of that dynamic. Operation Repo, which is a totally ghetto show, but I fucking love it. I was watching it last night. I think the new episodes come out on Wednesdays or something. Anyway, I have it on TiVo. And there was this really great scene where the guy, it's called Operation Repo, right? And it's a bunch of these people that live in LA and they do repossessions of cars. And so they go to repo a car, and the guy comes out and he's got like a collar on, and his mistress is holding him by his collar, his leash. And it was fantastic. I thought it was so realistic. It was so wonderful. It's a reality show, obviously. But it was great because they didn't break character. He was still a puppet. She was